Hello and welcome to the Run Testers. My name's Nick, and in this video we're going to be going through our favourite marathon kit. Each of the Run Testers in the video has gone through 3 pieces of kit that they really value and find essential to them when they're running a marathon. And in this video we're going to mainly stay away from the more obvious pieces of kit, so shoes in particular, because we do cover those a lot. We've done our running shoe rotations recently where we did talk about our favourite race day shoes, and in our podcast this month we're going to talk about marathon shoes as well. But in this video, we're going to talk about things like clothing that we can't live without, the most comfortable anti-chafe clothing, the nutrition we like to use in a marathon, lucky bits of kit, which are very important in a marathon, and then kind of practical bits of kit that help you carry all the stuff that you need for a full marathon. So it's all stuff that's been tried and tested across several marathons in most cases, and hopefully will help anyone who's got a marathon coming up to find a piece of kit that can really help them survive and indeed thrive over 42.2 kilometres.
Now, my marathon picks are pretty simple. There's only a few things that I really care about when I run a marathon. And these things are pieces of kit that I use all the time and I don't really want to do without. There's loads of things that I do use for marathons, but I'm not that bothered about them. I can use different things like gels and stuff like that. I can take or leave a different types of gels. But when it comes to kit, there's a few things that I really like to use. And first of those is socks. Now, socks are really important if you're running a marathon. It's such a simple thing, but if you get the wrong pair of socks on for a race, you're really going to know about it. If you're wearing a pair that's too thick and it's too hot, your feet are going to get sweaty. It's not going to be very comfortable. If you're wearing a pair that's really thin, you might be fine, but sometimes I find that with really thin socks, my shoes can rub, things like that. Basically, you want to be wearing a pair of socks that you're comfortable with, that you know works with the shoes that you've got, and you just don't have to worry about them. So the socks I always go for when I'm running a marathon tends to be Stance Run Crew socks. Now, Stance do loads of different versions of these and lots of different designs as well. So you can get really standard looking ones like grey or black, but also you can get them in nice designs. And they're quite nice to have in nice designs for marathon day because it makes it a bit special. This pair is actually a Forrest Gump pair, which is basically the design of a trainer on the sock. Now, these are a bit old now. I've been using these quite a lot. They're still my favourite pair, but I've accidentally put them in with Few Too Many Dark, so they've actually ran quite a bit and they've gone a bit dark. But the thing I like about these socks is that they're just solid. They're just really good. They're a nice balanced material. They're not too thick. They're not too thin. Definitely give you plenty of padding in the areas that you need it, but also don't feel too chunky. Definitely don't feel hot on the feet. Stance do talk about a lot of technical features that they've added to them, but essentially all of those things are just good sock things, like saying there's a nice bit of padding in the bottom and some of the other technologies which talk about breathability. But really, they're just a good pair of socks and they're solid, and I've probably used these 100 times or so because I use them for training as well as racing, and they're just great. $16.99 they start at, which may sound expensive for a pair of socks, but I've had these for about 2 years and I'm still using them for my marathons. I've got Barcelona next week and I'll probably be wearing those for that as well. So yeah, Stance Run Crew socks, good investment. So my second pick is another obvious one, and it's something that I can't do without when I go running in spring, summer, autumn, and that's a running cap. I am slightly follically challenged, so it's really important that I have a running cap, because sometimes when you go out and do a race, especially a marathon, you can start off and the day's not very nice, but then when you get an hour or two in, the sun suddenly comes out and then you've got 2 or 3 hours in the sun, and I have been burnt in a few races because I've not worn a cap and I've not planned properly. But the best cap that I've got, and I use this all the time, it's my sort of, I've got a lot of caps. I collect running caps basically, but this is the one I go back to all the time, and it's the lightweight running cap, and it is just so simple. It's just a really good lightweight running cap. It's got these laser perforations in the top. It's very breathable. If you do get sweaty in it, which I do quite a bit, it dries very quickly. What I tend to do is once I come back from a run, I just whack it under the tap and then let it dry, and it's fine for quite a while. Occasionally I'll put it in the wash, but it's just a solid, great lightweight cap. And a lot of my other caps are a little bit heavier than this. This is probably my favourite when it comes to the summer, and it just looks great as well. So the lightweight running cap is by far my favourite running cap, and I always say that. So it's well worth investing in. That's £30, but it's a good one to have in your armoury. You may not need it all the time, but sometimes when you go out, you might need to wear it, and it's good to have a good one ready for that. So my third pick is another essential that I basically never do without if I'm doing races, and I use these for quite a lot of training as well. And these are the Soar 3-Season shorts. Now these shorts are so good because they're really lightweight. They have sort of laser perforations in them. They're by far the lightest shorts I've got. But they also have a really nice inner layer, which is this thin material which is designed to stop chafing. But a lot of shorts that I wear have an inner layer in it. It tends to be quite thick, and it means that they can get a little bit sweaty. This is so thin, the inner layer in this. It's absolutely fantastic. And when I first started wearing these shorts, I did think this is going to wear down, or it's just not going to do the job. I've got loads of pairs of different Soar shorts, and these liners never seem to perish or have any issues with them at all. So they're a great pair of shorts to have for race day, just because they're really light. And you barely feel them on you, but they're fairly substantial shorts. They're not like small shorts. They're quite big, and I don't like wearing short shorts. I like to have a nice bit of length on my shorts, but I do want them to be light as well. So that's one of the main reasons I use these shorts. Now, Sword do have a load of different shorts that are like this. They've got some called the Gill Run shorts as well. I've got those. I tend to veer towards these because there's just a little bit more to them. But really, when I'm out on the run, I don't really feel a massive difference. Sometimes I'll wear a different pair of the shorts and I don't realise which ones I've got on. So they're all pretty similar. These are a little bit more expensive because there's a bit more to them. So these are £95. They do also have a zip pocket at the back. It's not very big, so it can't hold a lot of stuff in there. But when you're running a marathon, you can put 2 or 3 gels in it. So what I normally do when I run a marathon is I have a belt on as well as this, and I'll put the caffeine ones in the back of this and the non-caffeine ones in my belt, so I know which ones I'm going for when I'm doing my fueling strategy, because normally I do a normal gel and then a caffeine gel. So other than that, they're just really solid, good shorts, and I've got some pairs that I've had for absolutely ages, like 3 or 4 years now, and they look pretty much pristine as well. They last really long, so they may sound like an expensive investment, but it's a good investment because, yeah, £95 for 3 or more years of running shorts. I'm only saying 3 years because I've only had a pair for 3 years. I imagine they're going to last a lot longer. But it's a good investment to have, and I absolutely love them for race day. And if I can't find them, I end up making sure that I can get hold of them for race day if they're in the wash or something like that. So yeah, these Soar 3-season shorts.
Marathon picks. So my first pick is a visor. I love this visor. I don't even know if it's a running visor. I've definitely mentioned it on the Run Testers before because I still love it. It's from Crew Room, which I think is like a rowing shop, but I absolutely love it. It's kind of like it's just a really simple, like soft at the back, and then it's got a peak. I've worn this for the last few marathons I've done because you just never know what you're gonna get on race day, do you? And I think if it's really sunny, this will keep the sun out of my eyes. I think I wore it in Berlin when it was absolutely pissing it down, and it kept some of the water off my face. And I just love it because you can still it's a bit more breathable than having a cap on for the whole marathon. I just love it. I'm a big fan of it. And yeah, it's a simple, there's not much more to say about it, but it is simple and I love it. And yeah, it's probably not even meant for running, but I love this. Next up, this was a bit of a, should I talk about these, should I not? Because I've tried to find them on the Lululemon website and I can't. And I spoke about this in the Max Storage Shorts video. They might have discontinued these, and if they have, we need to start a petition. They're the Lululemon Fast and Free running shorts. Again, I've worn these for 3 marathons I've run. They're just great. There's so many pockets. They're so comfortable. They don't slip, they don't budge, they don't chafe. They're the best kind of cycling style shorts I've ever found for running. They've got loads of pockets. There's a big one on the back for your phone. There's little drop-in ones. There's leg pockets. The only thing is, looks wise, by the time you've put 3 gels, your phone, and I don't know what else would you even run with on race day, but by the time you've kind of packed out the pockets, you do look a bit like a pack horse. But who cares? Who cares what you look like? You're running a marathon. But I absolutely love these. I really hope you can still find them. I hope Lululemon haven't discontinued them and that they're just not on the website because it's March. But yeah, a Max Storage short, a pair of shorts with pockets you want, unless you're super, super quick and you don't want to be weighed down. But if you're running at my pace, you want a Max Storage short. You don't want to be wearing a big backpack or a vest, or, a hydration thing. You just want enough storage in your shorts. And then last pick is a running belt. Now I know I've just said you want shorts with cushioning in, but I think I've always done a marathon with a belt as well, just because I would put my phone in this. You don't want to be getting your phone out all the time in a marathon. I would put, if I on a long run, I'd put my phone in a leg pocket in here. But I think on race day, I would put my gels and things I want to reach in these leg pockets and have my phone on my back in one of these. You don't want things to be falling out, mid-marathon. And this is a decent running belt. Again, it's Lululemon, but there are other belts on the market. I'd pull it really tight and I'd have it kind of round so it's on my back. And then, you can always put like an extra gel in there if you want. But I just think when you're running on race day and you're thinking about so much, you don't want to be trying to pull a gel out, pulling your phone out, losing your phone, having to stop for it. Do you know what I mean? It's easy, it's on your back. I wore this one for my last marathon and it was comfortable, didn't move. And to be honest, I think if it was like I know this is about marathons, but if it was a half marathon distance and I only needed like 2 gels on my phone, I'd probably just race with this and not worry about, there are other shorts on the market without leg pockets. I'd chuck them on. So if you're not going to wear shorts with loads of pockets, you definitely need a belt or something to put phone and gels in. So this would be my pick. I think it's a fast and free belt and super comfy. It's made from the same material of the shorts, so it's soft against the skin and it doesn't budge. And yeah, I used this for London a couple of years ago and it was great. It was good.
This is my fave video to do marathon picks. So the first one is obviously shorts. Big deal. You don't want to get that wrong. So I've got 2 picks. I hope that's not too cheeky, but I've got the one that I have banged on about so much, the On Running Sprinter shorts. Really good value, close fit, kind of cycling short style fit, loads and loads of storage. So great if you want to store those gels all around your waist, and even bottles in your side pockets as well, which I've started using recently, and we'll come on to that a little bit later. But they're just so comfortable, no chafing, don't have to worry about storage, it's fine, you can carry everything with you, job done. However, if you like a split short, then there's a really good other option, but it's more pricey. It's the Soar Running Marathon shorts. They're super, super light, like embarrassingly light. You feel like you're not wearing anything. They've got laser cut hems, so they're never going to chafe. There's nothing to get in the way there. And then they've got these gel loops that you can store your gels in. Now, I have issues with them bouncing, but that's probably partly to do with the way my hips are and things. I know other people haven't had problems with that. I know the guys don't have problems. So they're a really good option if you want split shorts, super light. You don't want that kind of cycling short fit where it's like really hugging to your body. So 2 options, On Running Sprinter shorts and Soar Running Marathon shorts. Next pick, again, been really cheeky, and I've got 2 options here, but that is for very good reason. It's a running bra. Now, ladies, you do not want to get this wrong when you're running a marathon. The chafing is not to be messed with, as I'm sure guys have issues in other areas. So I have 2 options for you. If you don't want to wear a crop, then this is a bra that you can wear underneath whatever you're going to be wearing. So the Runderwear Original Bra, you'll see it on my essentials picks in our kind of overarching video that I did with Kieran, and that's because it is an excellent bra. I've got several of them. I've had for absolutely years. They're still going strong, but the current version is called the Runderwear Original Running Bra. It's version 5. It's £45. Really good value for money. Keep you going forever. No chafing. Easy to get in and out of. You don't have that kind of wrestling yourself out of it at the end of the marathon as well. So a great running bra. However, if you think it's going to be hot or you're confident wearing a crop, which you should be, and you also want a bit of extra storage, then an excellent option, which I used at Valencia, is the Tracksmith Alston Pocket Bra. Slightly less supportive, so you might not want to look at this if you're kind of larger in the chest, but for someone like me it's fine. For just a marathon I wouldn't train in it every day, but I would race in it. And it's got extra storage up the front as well, which is really good if you've got a few more gels that you want to put in there, or you want to carry your phone, I guess, or something like that. But it's lovely and soft, it fits really nicely, it's a good length, it looks sleek, comes in lots of lovely colours. So the Tracksmith Alston pocket bra, or the Runderwear original bra, depending on whether you want to go crop or bra undervest. There are a whole host of other marathon picks that I could have gone for. I could have gone for the gels, I could have gone for the shoes, I could have gone for socks, which are really important. I would have gone for sunglasses, because actually having a pair of sunglasses which you can run with on your head and then put on when you need it is brilliant, because the last thing you want to be doing at any point in a marathon is squinting, because that's just like another thing to think about. But the pair of sunglasses I have from Kalenji, they don't make anymore, so I don't have anything specific to recommend to you which is purchasable now. So I'm going to go to something which is fairly new to my rotation and is shamelessly stolen from another run tester, because essentially he runs really fast marathons and I want to try and steal all of his tips. So Nick Harris-Fry is to blame for this one. It's the Kalenji soft flasks in 250 millilitres. Great value, again, like 10 quid for a flask. It's not bad at all. And they fit brilliantly in the side pockets of those on running sprinter shorts, which I recommended earlier. And you can put something like the Mawson 320 drinks mix or something like that in them and keep sipping it as you're running, or just any kind of electrolyte drink, which is something which really makes a difference, I think, to marathon performance. And I've underestimated until now is liquid and drinking and electrolytes and that kind of drip 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 feed. So that is my kind of additional pick for this time, as something which is a bit different for me, but makes a massive difference. And that is about as big as I can go on a flask of 250. I think a 100 milliliter one would be fine as well, and particularly if you're wanting to, you know, reduce waste and not use gels because of the packets and things like that. But for this one, doing a drinks mix in a 250ml flask, and they've got like an off-on thing as well, which you can twist with your teeth so that you don't get splurted by accident and things like that. So great flasks.
Okay, so marathon essentials. I think that one of the first things I think about when I'm prepping for a marathon or that kind of race is music. I need music to get myself through that marathon distance. Essentially what I do is I use the same Spotify playlist that I've been using for years. I slightly tweak it, change the title depending on the race, but I like to kind of zone out. I like having really good sound, active noise cancellation, obviously that good fit. I do sometimes take them out during the race if I want to soak up the atmosphere, but ultimately I do want something that I can kind of drown out the noise around me. So I kind of skirt between a few options at the moment. The ones I've been using mostly, and I think I probably will for my marathon this year, will be the Apple AirPods Pro 2. Mainly because the fit has worked for me. I think the connectivity with my iPhone is pretty faultless. The active noise cancellation is very good, and the battery life for me is good enough for kind of the marathon distance that I'll be running, so 320, 330 marathon, and also kind of using it leading up to kind of getting to the start line as well. If I do want to hear about that atmosphere and I want to be more aware of my surroundings, then I will use a pair of Shox Open Run or an Open Run Pro. The sound difference and the fit doesn't make a massive difference between those two models for me personally. And also the Jabra Elite 7 Active are ones I've used as well, where you've got a little bit more kind of in terms of the durability compared to the AirPods Pro 2. But mainly I will be using the AirPods Pro 2. And yeah, I mean, headphones is pretty much a staple for me in terms of my marathon training and also when it comes to race day. Okay, so next up is a running belt. Now, I will always be carrying gels. I will always carry my phone just from a kind of safety point of view. And I like to have those things with me. And I also like to have a little bit of kind of extra storage if I need to carry something extra with me on the course. Now, the key things for me is that I want to be able to carry that stuff very minimal kind of in terms of what I want to wear on that kind of race day. So it's really important that I have something that I don't really feel ultimately, and I can get easy access to as well when I need to grab a gel, or maybe I need to pick my phone up for whatever reason, but generally I don't need to do that. And the one that I've kind of settled on is the Decathlon marathon belt, which actually you can see I stuck it through the wash and the letters have started to come off. But other than that, it's been absolutely fine in terms of ultimately giving me enough storage, holding really kind of closely to my waist as well. There's a kind of nice little bit of extra kind of string to kind of tighten things up, but it doesn't feel overly tight at all. The storage is really, really strong as well. If I wanted to carry kind of additional kind of bigger items in there, I do have the option to do that. And it's not expensive as well. I used to be a flip belt user. I found this has been more reliable for me. As I said, I've been able to stick it in the wash as well to keep it kind of clean as well, and it's been absolutely fine from a durability point of view. So yeah, running belt, really important for me. I'm always going to be carrying gels, kind of 4 or 5 gels, my phone, in it kind of for a marathon ultimately. And this is the belt that's kind of worked very well for me, and it's not too expensive either too. So last up is a good vest. I can't run a marathon in t-shirts. Ultimately, I would end up rolling the sleeves up. I kind of get very hot very quickly during the kind of marathon. So I need a good vest. I need ultimately something that's light, kind of doesn't irritate or kind of chafe anywhere, doesn't cling too much. Your number can kind of stay on very securely. When you kind of, I tend to throw water on myself during the race as well, so it's something that doesn't cling too much either as well. Those are the kind of things I kind of look for. So the ones I generally use, and we're very fortunate in the situation where Soar Running have made our kind of run testers vests, and that's generally what you'll find me in. But I've kind of bought their vests before because they work really well for me in terms of that race, in terms of the things that I kind of explained, in terms of the fit, in terms of being really light, but also doesn't cling, doesn't get too sweaty as well, feels very airy and breathable as well on those runs. And also, if I'm not running in the Soar vest, I will be in one of the kind of classic Seiski vests. So this is one of the Seiski vests that I bought after I bought a couple of different ones initially. They worked really well for me, particularly kind of on shorter distances, but I found that if I've used them on a kind of longer kind of training runs, I'd have no qualms kind of using these at the marathon distance as well. Similar to this, they're very nice and light, comfortable, don't cling too badly, and they just feel really comfortable and airy to kind of wear, and I love the kind of fit of them as well. So yeah, I bought a few of those as well. So yeah, vest, really important for me. I will be in either the Soar Running kind of vest, the one that Soar have made for us, or alternatively I would probably be in a Seiski vest if I can't find this one or locate my hands on my Soar one.
So my first marathon essential will come as no surprise if you watch the channel a lot. It's Morton's various fueling things, but in particular the Drink Mix 320, which is a very high carb drink. It's 80 grams of carbs that forms a hydrogel when you drink it and hits your stomach acid, which just means that I find it's a little bit easier to absorb, especially during a marathon when not everything is always functioning perfectly in a gastrointestinal sense. So during a marathon, I aim to take in a lot of carbs. I probably aim for about 60 grams an hour during the marathon itself, and I'll carry that with me with 120 grams of carbs from drinks and then another 25 or 50 odd from gels. I also use the Morton gels during a marathon as well. So in my last 10 marathons, I think I've done 9 with Morton products being the main fuel I use during the marathon, and the only other marathon I did, went back to gels, a different brand of gels, and I got a stomach upset. So I'm back on the Morton now. I just find it really comfortable on my stomach. It makes you feel full and fueled without ever being uncomfortable during a marathon. So it works really well. Like this hydrogel stuff, I know there have been studies into this that haven't really shown much of an advantage in terms of gastrointestinal distress, but it's just one of the things that you find that works for you. And in a marathon, fueling is such a tricky thing to get right. I will always just stick with this because, in particular, the marathons I ran last year, I found that I was fueled perfectly just using this exact system with Morton products. The system is, I might as well go through it quickly. I start the day with my breakfast and a full Morton 320 drinks. That's 80 grams of carbs, and I have that a few hours before the marathon itself. Then I mix up 3 soft flasks, which are 250 mils with the Morton 320. So each of those contains 40 grams of carbs, and then there's half a bottle left over that I'll probably have on the way to the marathon. And then I'll carry 2 gels with me for the marathon itself. And I don't tend to always use both. In fact, I probably only ever use one, but we've got a little bit of safety net there of having a second gel. And then the marathon itself, it's every 5k I'll have something. So at 5k I'll have my caffeine gel, and then at 10 through to 35k, so there's 6 fueling points in that, I'll have half a soft flask at each of them. So that's 20 grams of carbs from the Drink Mix 320, and that just keeps me very steadily fueled throughout the race. And then at 35k I'll finish my last bit of drink, and after that maybe at 38 or 40k I'll have another gel, but depends how I'm feeling. It's not actually that essential, I'd say, even though I've called this Marathon Essentials. So it's a system that's worked so well for me in the past. I don't really want to stray from it ever again when I'm going out for a PB, because I just have had problems when I've tried to deviate from this system. But there are other hydrogel drinks out there. OTE make one, and SIS do a very high carb drink that isn't a hydrogel form, which also works quite well from their Beta Fuel range. But yeah, Morton's the stuff I use at the moment. It is very expensive. 14 sachets of the drink will set you back £43.20 or $48, and the gels are 12 gels for £32.40 or $43.20. So you can certainly get cheaper options, and if you've got a slightly hardier stomach, an all gel strategy might work quite well for you, and that will cost you a lot less. But yeah, I like carrying my drinks. It works well for me, and it's certainly one of my big marathon essentials. Now, to carry all those drinks, you need a very special set of shorts. So this is my second marathon essential, which is the Decathlon. Now, the name is a bit tricky here because it changes between the men's and the women's shorts. The ones I actually use are the women's shorts, and they are called the Kiprun Support Women's Running Shorts, and they cost £24.99. Now, the men's shorts are called the Men's Marathon Running Shorts. So I'll put links in because it is quite confusing, but the main difference between them, the men's shorts are shorts and the women's ones are half tights, and I prefer half tights. They're much more comfortable for me over the course of a marathon, and I feel like when I'm putting a lot of stuff into the storage options they have, half tights hold it a little bit tighter against the body for me. The last 3 marathons I've done, I've used these shorts. I've used these ones here. They basically allow you to carry a lot of stuff really, really securely. So they've got 2 large back pockets, which are pouch drop-in pockets, so I can put a soft flask in either of those, a 250ml soft flask, and then a large central front pocket is a zip pocket, another soft flask in there for me, and then 2 side pockets that are a little bit smaller. Pop your gels in there. It's just the perfect pocket setup for me. Those pockets on the back are really good. They hold stuff against your body tightly, and they don't bounce around, even if you are loading them up pretty considerably, like I do during a marathon. These half tights are often out of stock, I will say that. But they have just come into stock recently, so I immediately bought another pair because I have worried about them running out. And yeah, they're now available in this blue color with the exact same pocket setup from Decathlon. I don't think they're available on the US Decathlon website. I haven't seen them there, so apologies for that. Although a really good alternative, I think, is the Janji short. I think they're the groundwork shorts or the trail half tights. They're again half tights with loads of pockets. They're a lot more expensive. I've not yet tried them in a full marathon, but I have enjoyed using them on other runs. But yeah, the Decathlon shorts for the win. They're pretty cheap. They've got an amazing storage system, and they are comfortable. I've had no chafing concerns across 3 marathons using these shorts, which is another reason I like to go for half tights in particular, because I feel like it holds everything in place a little bit more securely than normal shorts. But if you don't like half tights, then there are normal shorts available from Decathlon as well, with the same pocket setup. So my fueling and my shorts are absolute essentials. My last pick for the marathon is less essential, but more of a thing that I like to do now for luck, which is wear my Panda socks from Sporks. These are really lightweight socks. They're comfortable. They were given to me by a friend, and they've just become my go-to socks that make me smile and feel happy on a marathon. I think it's important to have at least one lucky piece of kit. I also have a headband that I consider quite lucky, and I think that's valuable to have, especially if it's an item that actually works very well. These are good technical socks, really thin, will fit inside very tight-fitting racing shoes if you use those. But in general, are lightweight, breathe well, and I have not had any problems with rubbing or blisters while wearing them, so they just work very well. I would say they are quite thin and not necessarily the most durable socks. These are socks to save for special occasions like your marathons. I have had some sport socks I've gone through a little bit quicker than my other socks. They're not disastrous on that front. It's just if you're going to use them very heavily, they probably will show wear a little bit quicker than other socks. But the benefit of that is they are very lightweight and breathable, which a lot of people will like when running marathons in hot countries in particular. Now, the actual Panda socks here are called cycling socks by Sporks, and I think they're mostly available from third parties now, but they should cost you around £16, £17, something like that, if you can find them anywhere. And if you don't like Pandas, which would be crazy, there are lots of other socks in the Sporks range that I think are also really good. So in general, my advice would be go and find a pair of socks you really like as your lucky socks. Pandas ideally, but you can find other ones, I suppose, and Sporks' socks are really good if you want a very lightweight sock for race day.
So before I get into my essentials, quick word on how I approach a marathon then. Well, I'm anywhere between like a 2:57, which is my fastest, right up to like a 3:45 marathon, and depending on the day and what training I've done. I tend to approach it with a little less of a minimal approach than the kind of split shorts and vest crowd out there. I'm always carrying a little bit more. I'm one of those runners who can often look like they belong more on the trails than they do running a city marathon. Now, I'm a massive fan of the big trend for max storage shorts. Those shorts that come with belts and pockets and enough space for you to carry all your marathon essentials built into the shorts. That's great. Got some favourite pairs of those. But there are some times where you've got your favourite shorts, you've got some lucky shorts, you've got shorts that won't chafe, and you want to run in those and you still want to do the storage. When that happens, I will always reach for a running belt. And one of the best running belts that I've found to date is the naked running band. Now this running belt basically has 3 pockets. It's got one big long stretch mesh pocket along the front. It's got 2 separated stretch mesh compartments in the back, and it will basically house everything that you need to take on marathon race day: phone, keys, a cash card, gels. You can even fit a soft flask in there, like a 650ml soft flask. There's enough storage for you to port pretty much everything you need to be self-sufficient on race day. It's super comfortable, it's light, that mesh makes it kind of dry fast, it doesn't roll up, it doesn't sort of cut in. It's got some really cool features like it's got toggles for your race number if you use that. I don't tend to do that, but that's there for you if you want. It's got a built-in hook so you can attach your keys or a headphones case in there too. Now I know some people have said, I don't want to run with something that says naked across the front of it, and I kind of get that a little bit if you don't want to have that branding, but there's one thing that you can do which is nice and easy. If you really want to, you just turn that inside out and it will work just as well the other way around. This one will cost you $49.99 in the UK or $49.99 in your US dollars. That is a naked running band. Now the next essential for me, and this is a crucial one, is fuel. You've got to get your fueling right on marathon race day. Get it wrong and things can be very, very difficult later in the race. Get it right and you're in for a much happier day. This is one of those things that really can determine whether or not your race goes very well or not. Now for me recently, I've been reaching for one of these. This is a Precision Fuel and Hydration 90-gram carb pouch. They're called PF90 if you want to search for them. Basically what you have here is the carb equivalent of about 4.5 standard gels in one resealable pouch. Now I know you can sort of say, look, this looks quite big, but hear me out. It's not bigger than kind of 4 gels for a start, but also the key factor is this twisty resealable lid means that it opens up a load of benefits. The first one is that you can take on as much or as little carbs in one hit as you want. You're not going to have to definitely get that 30 grams carb gel down in one go. Now that can be a really good thing if you struggle with taking on board that much in one hit. It's good for avoiding tummy troubles. The other thing is with this, you don't have to be kind of ripping open multiple gels with your teeth. As you run, it's nice and simple, easy to open on the move, easy to close. There's obviously less sticky gel packets that you've got to put away in a pocket somewhere once you're done with them. Also, what's in here is a really neutral tasting gel that's got a texture that I think is really easy to swallow. You can get this down without water as well. And there's no kind of lingering kind of nasty taste. So you'll pay about $14.99 for 3 of these PF90 pouches, so it's actually pretty good value for money as well. Now if you're shooting for the 60 grams of carbs per hour that a lot of people will aim for in a marathon, you're going to need 2 of these pouches to get you through a 3-hour marathon. But when I'm running a marathon, I don't tend to start fueling until I'm about 60 or 90 minutes in. And what I'll do is I'll take one of these and then I'll add other gels in it with a different kind of flavour profile, mix it up. I'll have something like a Vala gel. This is an all-natural kind of 5-ingredient gel, basically like a date paste, which I really like. This is a good flavour switch up. Nice and easy to eat, that one. It's a bit pasty rather than the gel, but I really like it as a change, really nice and sweet. Now another important factor in all the marathons that I've run, I've done about 50 city marathons, and music has been a key in many of those, not just to sort of find those moments where you need a little bit of extra help and motivation getting to the end, but also just having a soundtrack to some really special moments. As I've run across Europe, you know, music that has seen me kind of run through the streets of Prague or in Rome or Paris, you know, it can create some really sound memories. And when you come back and you pop those songs on somewhere else, all of a sudden you're taken back to those really special moments. So music is really important. And one of the sets of headphones that I've started to reach for a little more recently are these Shox Open Run Pro Mini. They're bone conductors, so they sit on the cheekbones, so you've got open ears, you can hear what's going on around you. It's really good for when you want to sort of move between listening to your music and keying into, you know, the music that's on the race course or the crowds or the people who might come up beside you and talk. You're getting the best of both worlds here. And with these Pro Mini, you've got a good battery life, you get decent sound, although it's not going to be as loud and as cocooning as a pair of in-ears, but it does a really good job. You know, they're nice and lightweight, they stay put. The other thing is, because they've got the neck band, if you want to drop them down, you don't want to be using them, you can drop them to your neck really easily and carry on running without any fuss trying to put away buds inside cases, all of that kind of business. I opt at the moment for the Mini over the Pro. They're the same price, just because it's got a slightly smaller neckband, and I find that kind of fits even my massive head much better. Yeah, so these Shox Open Run Pro Mini, a great option for when you want to mix up listening to the crowds, the music on course, and to tune into when you need that kind of power song. Mine is Proud Mary by Tina Turner, by the way. Then last but not least, and this is another one that I think is a totally an optional one. A lot of people don't necessarily need it. Some people might use a bin bag. Some people might take an old jumper they can put in the recycling before the start of the race. But I really like to take a lightweight jacket. I'd like to stay warm, and I'll wear the jacket right up to the gun go. I get cold really easily, and I wanted something that can take the edge off. So I normally take a really lightweight packable jacket with me that will fit into my running belt. Now something like this is like the On Zero jacket that weighs less than 100 grams. It rolls up really nice and tight. You can fit it into your running belt, carry it with you without noticing it's there. So this one comes in a little bit pricey, but there are other good, cheaper options out there. One that I really like is the Innovate Windshell Windproof. I can't say it. Windshell Windproof 2.0. That jacket as well is under 100 grams, packs down just as tight and compact as this one will fit in the running belt. Now, one thing that you've got the benefit of having a jacket in your belt when you get to the finish line is some marathons have really kind of long, cold walks at the end, and you've got something to take the edge off. I'm looking at you, New York Marathon. I'll never forgive you for that mile I had to walk in the absolute freezing cold when I did you a few years back. Suffered for that, learnt my lesson. Now I will carry my own jacket for afterwards.
So that is our roundup of our favourite bits of marathon gear. Please do dive into the comments and give us your favourite marathon gear, beyond the obvious stuff, things that you found have really helped you fuel during marathons or stay comfortable during marathons. So that, ways of carrying gels or very good products that never chafe, things for hot marathons, things for cold marathons. Yeah, please pop that in the comments below, and maybe stick around if people ask questions about it so you can reply to them and let them know where to get it, because marathon's a long way to run at pace, and any bit of kit that makes it feel that little bit easier is worth knowing about. Also, like, subscribe, ring the little bell, and we'll see you next time.